Hello and welcome back to my Antwerp Zoo series. My name is Sib and I will be your guide throughout this episode. It's been a while since my last video and as a result it's going to be a little different from my usual videos. First of all, I'll do my usual history bit while I show you around the building in the background. Then I'll talk about some Belgian zoo news and finally I'll go into the game and add some modded animals. We have a lot to talk about, so let's get right into it. In today's episode we're going over Vriesland, the building located at the southern edge of Antwerp Zoo. The building itself is a combination of several building stages throughout history, coinciding with the different roles it has had in the long history of the Antwerp Zoo. The original building was built in 1876 and designed by architect Charles Servet. The only remnants of this first building are the two brick entrances on either side of Vriesland. In between these two buildings was an aviary for ducks, including a small pond. This duck aviary and the adjacent brick structures were actually located perpendicular to its current location, bordering a small piece of land which the zoo didn't own yet. On the small piece of land there was a panorama building where visitors could see a large panorama painting of the Battle of Worth, which occurred during the Franco-Prussian War of 1870-1871. This building was also designed by Charles Servet, and he was the main shareholder of the company that ran the establishment. The main entrance to the panorama building was outside the zoo, but zoo visitors were allowed to enter through a back door. In 1880, the zoo made an arrangement with the panorama company, and after 25 years the piece of land would be acquired by the zoo. After acquiring this piece of land, the panorama building was demolished to make room for the aquarium, and the duck aviary was relocated to its current location by 1909. In 1972, the duck aviary was remodeled to house the zoo's whale skeleton that was quite well known to the visitors at the time. Meanwhile, a penguin enclosure was constructed in the left brick building, while the building on the right became a Chinese pavilion. Between 1995 and 1997, the building got a complete makeover by architects Georges Ben, Patrick de Sterck, and Joseph Wetzel. The goal was to make a climatized building for Antarctic penguins, and a study was ordered from a Boston-based designing company, Joseph Wetzel Associates, which at the time was a leading company in the field of aquarium, zoo, and museum design. By 1997, their design was actualized. The aviary was completely removed and replaced by a metal facade, partially hidden by faux rocks. Two major water basins were made, one for the Antarctic penguins on the interior of the building and one for sea otters on the exterior front of the building. The sea otter basin also partially goes inside, where people can view the otters underwater. In 2010, the last sea otter at Antwerp unfortunately died during a breeding trip to Rotterdam, and since then the former otter enclosure has been occupied by harbor seals. I would love to see sea otters eventually return to the Antwerp Zoo, but at the moment there are only a handful of European zoos that have them. Inside Vriesland, a lot of attention is spent on education. As you walk through the building, you can learn stuff about seal behavior, penguin mating habits, Antarctica, and much more. Of course, there is also the large penguin enclosure with underwater viewing. The enclosure itself somehow always reminds me of the one shown in Happy Feet, but it is actually quite different. Vriesland's Antarctic penguin enclosure houses three kinds of penguins: king penguin, gentoo penguin, and macaroni penguin. The king penguin is obviously part of Vanilla Planet Zoo, while the gentoo penguin is a mod made by Leaf. At this moment there is no mod for macaroni penguins yet. It was hard to emulate the faux rocks of the actual enclosure with the limited variety of faux rocks the base game provides, but I still managed to approximate the actual look by using faux trunks and roots. In the actual design there are small caves inside the faux rock wall to allow nesting behavior. Occasionally, the zookeepers will throw chunks of ice into the penguin enclosure as a way of enrichment for the animals. In addition, to stimulate the swimming behavior, of the penguins, and to prevent them from standing on land for long periods of time, the zookeepers will also throw fish into the water to force the penguins to dive after them.
And with that, we move on to the live part of the game about some zoo news and Planet Zoo news. So, it's been a while since, since my last upload, like 4 months. And in the meantime, a lot of zoo news has happened, both in real life and in Planet Zoo. Let me start with the real life news. I'm going to be a bit quick about this. So there have been a lot of births. Sorry, in Antwerp Zoo. We have had 3 new lion cubs. So 2 years ago we already had 3 new lion cubs, but now we have 3 more. So the lion population in Antwerp is booming. We also have a second okapi baby, a second okapi calf this year. There have been a lot of meerkats being born, I think, and topical for this video, a king penguin also was born in the zoo. Some more general news there, which has important implications, of course, for Zoo Antwerp. There has been a ministerial decree. It hasn't been put into law yet, but there has been a ministerial decree about animal welfare and animal husbandry in zoos. Now, animal welfare is a Flemish matter, so for those who don't know, Belgium is a federal country. Well, you might say similar to the United States, but it's a bit more complicated than that. But to boil it down, we have 3 important regions. We have the Flemish region, Flanders, we have the Wallonia region, and we have the Brussels capital region. Now, animal welfare is something that the regional government has to decide upon, and our Flemish Minister for Animal Welfare, Ben Waits, who is also a very bad Minister of Education, by the way, published this decree, and basically everyone already knew about it, but the minimal space requirements for a lot of different kinds of animals have been increased, in particular like big cats and stuff. Now, Antwerp Zoo always had to make choices about what sort of animals it wants to keep, because the space is limited, and they want to have, of course, the same standards as other big European zoos. So they're always actually ahead of what the government demands from them, as you can see in their recent changes to the zoo, like big savanna change in 2016, the Ape Valley, which we are currently closing in on. Like, those things were made, or those changes were made with the bigger space requirements in mind. Now, of course, the zoo and other big stakeholders in zookeeping and animal husbandry do have a stake in the ministerial decree. They were consulted. They are part of the decision-making process. So in that regard, they practically already knew what was coming, so they could prepare. They could prepare for this. Essentially, what it will mean is that Antwerp Zoo will have to make some choices. Now, I was gonna walk around the zoo while I was talking, but I am actually gonna go back to free look mode, because there's 2 areas where this will impact the Antwerp Zoo, in my opinion. This here, monkey house. New requirements will require certain species of monkey to have both an interior and an exterior minimum space requirement. Currently there are a couple of monkey species in this building which do not have an exterior habitat. Secondly, and perhaps more important or more impactful, the elephants, the Asian elephants. Now, there has already been a lot of chatter on the fan forums of the Antwerp Zoo about this. I think there's even been some comments on my videos about this, that there were rumors that they were gonna expand this elephant enclosure. Now, people thought this was gonna be the way of expanding this little pond here. Was going to be the new swimming area for these elephants to replace this pond over here. But I don't think they will do that. I don't think the zoo will do that, because this pond is, I think, historically protected, because it was present at the founding of the zoo and is thus like more than 100 years old. And I don't think they are allowed to make drastic changes in this area. Now, I think they're gonna expand down here, and my line of thought is supported by some speculation. There has been a member of the fan forums who, when he went to the zoo, witnessed a company drawing chalk lines in this lawn. Now, this lawn is not perfectly recreated in my planned zoo version, but he witnessed someone drawing chalk lines in this lawn. Now, this could be, of course, related to flower beds that they intend to make here, like they often do decorative things in this area. It might be related to that, but it might also be a company like making a plan for this, drawing a plan for this, and they needed measurements. That could be it also. I think it's the latter. I think it was a company taking measurements to draw a proposal. How could this be expanded? Now, this wooden construction here, they would have to tear this down and maybe separate it into one here and one here. Maybe they could even connect it to this walkway on Hippotopia here, that this path just disappears altogether, or a section of this path disappears and is replaced by a new path connected to this. Now, of course, it's not really wheelchair accessible, but you could argue that there are alternative ways to go around this, and that it wouldn't necessarily be a path for people with, or that it's not necessary for people who can't access this to have seen it. It's just an extra experience. Let me put it like that. So that's some big news about the big Flemish ministerial decree that will impact the Antwerp Zoo. Over here we also have some news in regards to the Jubilee building. There has been an interview with the director of the zoo about this area. Now, this entire area is in limbo currently because of the financial troubles of the COVID pandemic that they're still impacting the zoo. I also think they focused a bit on Plankendaal, the sister zoo of Antwerp. By the way, check out Just Goran's walkthrough of Plankendaal if you haven't done so. But basically, this entire area is in limbo, partly the reason why I haven't really touched it. They had this big master plan for new tigers or new tiger enclosure, new snow leopard enclosure and stuff like that. There was even a period of time where there was a lot of speculation about housing manatees in this building. Now the director has come out and confirmed that the plans are still going to be followed, but he also has given us a list of animals we might expect here. So for this aquaforum building, the Jubilee building itself, the aquaforum, we're not going to see manatees, unfortunately. As much as every one of us would like it, and as unique as it will be, we're not gonna get manatees, or not for the foreseeable future. The director did say though that we're gonna get jellyfish, and I'm gonna use the Dutch term here because it's quite ambiguous. Waterschildpadden. Now, what waterschildpadden is, if you would translate it literally into English, it would be turtles. Because in Dutch we don't have two different words for a turtle and a tortoise. We say schildpad, and then if we want to say turtle, we say waterschildpad. If you want to say tortoise, we say landschildpad. So water turtle and land turtle, basically. But he said he said waterschildpad, but in Dutch it kind of carries a connotation that that it's about like smaller turtles. Like if we wanted to say sea turtles, we would say zeeschildpad and not zeewaterschildpad. And we leave out the water. So it's not really clear if it's about water or just like regular small turtles, freshwater turtles, or sea turtles, which would be, in my opinion, more interesting to house in this. Now, I think because it's jellyfish, that they are gonna have. It would make sense to have sea turtles because sea turtles eat jellyfish, and there's a lot of possibilities around education, educating people about like pollution, like jellyfish are mistaken, or plastic bags could be mistaken for jellyfish by sea turtles, and the sea turtles might eat them and die. So I think it's more logical to have sea turtles in here. Now, I think this area is mostly going to stay the same with spectacled bears in here. They might add in coatis. Now they were also going to add spider monkeys, so that might be in this area too. The plants or the tiger enclosure and the snow leopard enclosure are confirmed, so we can expect both of those still coming. But we now also know that there will be aviaries for owls and cranes in the back there. So just a big confirmation that the plans are still there and they are being worked on. Sorry, that they are being worked on, and that we might see something in the future. Now a bit of different news. In this area, we have a new animal that has joined the Antwerp Zoo. Back in June, the Antwerp Zoo has received 4 Babirusa males, 4 males from different zoos around Europe. I think mostly from Germany, if I'm not mistaken, if not all from Germany. But yeah, they went into the old kangaroo enclosure, which is gonna be in the near future for this recreation, I think, because it's in this general area. But yeah, Babirusa, actually an animal this game already has, so that's quite fun. So that's it for Antwerp Zoo news, general zoo news. Let's now get into the Planet Zoo news. I'm gonna go on a bit of a rant here. I'm sorry, but it's just the nature of the game to go on a rant, right? Yeah, if you have time to walk around, and it is a really perfect opportunity to just go on a rant while you're at it. So I haven't made a video on Planet Zoo in 4 months. Since then, there have been 2 DLCs, the Conservation Pack and the most recent Twilight Pack. Now, I have been very uninspired by Planet Zoo and by the new DLCs. Partly because they don't add many new things beside the animals, and they don't have any new game-breaking mechanics or new metas, as you might say in another game. Okay, the bats are cool, okay, they're new, but they're still confined to looped animations in a confined space. And I think this is the major issue Planet Zoo has if it wants to be innovative. Because at the moment it isn't innovative. The devs are using the same formula over and over again, and they have been using the same formula for literally all of the development cycle now. 5 animals or 8 animals. If it's 5 animals, there's some props in there. No new mechanics or game-breaking things. They are experimenting. They did that with the burrows. They did that now with the bats. But they haven't really expanded on the burrows. So they might not really expand on the flying either. They might add in birds. They might add in 2 or 3 of them, or 4, or maybe a whole pack of 8. But I think that's gonna be it. There's not gonna be an overhaul of that exhibit, which only offers like 1 walkthrough path. Actually, I should turn. Well, I can cheat a bit and just jump off there. But let me give this aviary as an example here. This is supposed to be an aviary. Oh, okay. I'm not allowed to jump off. I'm a bit too used to the free walk mod thingy. But this is a big aviary, the Savannah aviary, and we're not going to be able to simulate that in recreations. These types of things, because we are confined to a box with a straight path going through them. And it extends to exhibits in general. We are confined to boxes, to the what is it, 64 cubic meter box, and then we can just customize it and put a snake or a frog in there. Now, there are people at home who keep snakes, frogs, spiders, lizards. They don't put them in a 4x4x4 meter box. That's like, I think that might be bigger than my room right now. For one tiny animal, that's way too big. I could fit a terrarium on my table right now. So I think in terms of creativity, that's really limiting. And it limits creativity mostly for recreation people, or people who like to build realistic zoos. It's not limiting for 9 to 12-year-olds who just want to have fun. I understand that. That's a big part of the audience of the game, and they should accommodate for that. But they should also accommodate for arguably a bigger portion of the players who want to build realistic zoos or who want to be good at building. And for that reason, I think they should approach exhibits differently. They should approach it like this, where you put an animal like a prop in an exhibit that you can choose yourself which size it is. Now, they could simply do it similarly like how the East Asia wheel works. The East Asia wheel, for those who don't know, is a prop which has an animation. It is a looped animation, of course, but all the animals, all the exhibit animals have looped animations. So it wouldn't be that hard to just like introduce that kind of exhibit system where you put in maybe an object or a marker in a space like this and say, okay, this is where the animal should be put if I want to buy an animal from the exhibit market. And then you click on the marker, and essentially then you get the screen you would normally get when you click on an exhibit. It should work like that. It allows players to put animals wherever they want, or exhibit animals wherever they want, in exhibits that are the size they want it to be, another 64 cubic meter box with a very limited customization to it. They should just do it like that, and of course leave open the possibility of having the 4x4x4 box, because for new people and people who don't really care about looks, that's perfect. Same with the bats. It's perfect for people who want to build a quick bat exhibit, not for people like me who want to build like unique aviaries like the one over there. So that's one aspect why I haven't really been uploading or making videos of Planet Zoo. I've been uninspired. Now the second reason is because there's a lot of time that goes into it. There's like, every time I want to build something, I think I spend like at least a week every day, like 1 or 2 hours when I was still building in Antwerp Zoo actively. It took me at least a week, 2 weeks maybe even, to build something. Long sessions of 2, 3, 4 hours of building. It gets really lonely because this isn't a multiplayer game. And okay, you may be able to go into a Discord chat with other people playing Planet Zoo, but essentially there's no multiplayer. There's no fun in multiplayer. Since there isn't a multiplayer, I'm going in circles right now, but okay, you could invite people to give feedback, give criticism, give suggestions on how to do certain things, but That might work in my other zoos, like my ZSU zoo, the Havermeersen. That might work there. That might work in collaborative projects where you share a zoo save file, but that doesn't work in a recreation project like this, because I'm essentially in all the people that play Planet Zoo in that Discord. I'm the expert on Antwerp Zoo. I'm the one who has the pictures, has the expertise about which animals are where paths go, how the zoo looks. I'm probably the only one, except for maybe Goran, who physically has been to Antwerp Zoo and knows how the zoo looks. So there's no real point or no real room for like collaboration or interaction with other people. And as I said, it gets lonely. It gets boring to be building 4 hours at a time in a zoo where the only people that can really interact about it are the people who comment on the videos, and then it's like mostly like after the fact, after like there's no direct input. I would put it like that. There's not like someone who can watch my stream and intervene when I'm doing something wrong or that. Like that would be, well, I'm actually amazed the game allowed me to walk up here. Huh. Okay. Because there's no path here. Well, this is interesting. And then it, okay. Anyways, that's one of the reasons why I really haven't been uploading that much recently. Now, that being said, don't be surprised if in the following days there are going to be different games being uploaded or different playthroughs being uploaded of different games. I do this for fun, and one of the big things keeping me back was thinking or having the mindset that if I uploaded something that was not Planet Zoo, then I was gonna lose subscribers, because let's be honest, you are here to watch my recreation of Antwerp Zoo. You're not here to watch me play Minecraft with friends or Rocket League with friends or upcoming games maybe like Victoria 3, which are really interesting to me. You're not, in the first place, you're not here for them. Now, I am gonna humbly ask you to give it a shot, give it a chance, give those types of videos a chance, because I think they could be really fun. That you might learn something new if you're interested in history. I highly suggest you watch my future playthrough of Victoria 3, which is probably gonna be as Belgium, I guess. But if you are interested in history, you might learn something. If you're interested in, or you just want to watch like 10 minutes, 15 minutes of a group of friends having fun playing a stupid game where they drive a car and chase a ball into a goal, then maybe watch some Rocket League. I don't know. Life shouldn't be all about views and subscribers and this and that, but the YouTube game really makes it about that. And while in the beginning it might have been about a fun thing to have on the side, for a lot of people it takes a lot of time. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope I have given you all some perspective on why my Antwerp Zoo series has slowed down to the point where it essentially stopped, but now I promise you it will continue. So I hope I'll see you in a future video, and I hope you all take care of yourselves, and see you next time. Bye!